Next, Jeff says, are there any particular keyword modifiers that you track for your clients? Is there a benefit to tracking multiple variations like tree service near me, tree service city, and tree service? Yes, and that's exactly what I do, Jeff. Even like, for example, in all of my competitive link analysis reports that I do, even for white label clients, that is how I instruct them to submit their search queries. Like, pick your primary search query back up. So I always ask people when they're submitting a competitive link analysis report request or a full SEO audit to submit the 3 top search queries that are the most important to that client, that local business. Okay. And then whatever those 3 search queries are, however they were submitted by the client, then I go add variants to them. So for example, if they were to submit 3 separate search queries for a, let's just say, to use your example, tree service. So let's say they did one for tree service plus city, and I'm in Pikeville right now, Kentucky. So let's just use that. So let's say one was tree service, Pikeville, one was tree trimming, Pikeville, and one was stump grinding, Pikeville. Okay. Then what I'm going to do when I go to create the competitive link analysis, well, I don't actually create the reports, my team does, but then when I go in to analyze the data, then I will go in and make the other 2 variants of each of those keywords, which is exactly what you've listed in your question. So I want the general keyword without a location modifier. I want the keyword plus the near me modifier. And then I want the keyword plus the city modifier. But if the client submits a city modifier for a city that the GBP is not actually located in, then I'm always going to add another version of the keyword with the city that the business is actually located in, because there's still a lot of SEOs out there that are probably telling their clients, oh yeah, we can get you ranked for search query plus a city that you're not located in, which is absolutely false. You could do it in organic, but it's not in maps, because the way that map search works now is that when you query Google for again, tree service plus a city name, like let's say Pikeville, that is asking Google to return companies that provide that service that are located in that city, not that serve that city. They're located in that city. That's a difference. It used to be where we could do that. We could rank a GBP into cities that it was nowhere near, if optimized properly and everything else. It's not like that anymore. It's very much about proximity. And so if the query contains a city modifier for a city that the GBP is not located in, it's not going to perform well there, no matter what you do. Like, now there's always outliers, right? There's always exceptions to that, very rural areas or where there's no competitors, then yeah, you can do that kind of stuff. But for the vast majority of local businesses, you can rank really well in map search for the keyword plus near me, and the keyword plus the city that the GBP is located in. But as soon as you start adding the keyword plus other cities the GBP is not located, maybe immediately adjacent cities you can rank in. But if you go like more than one city over, so where there's a city or town between where it's actually located and where the modifier is that they've appended to the query, it's not going to rank there, because that Google's going to return business. The query is asking Google to return businesses that are located in the city that was in the query, not that serve it. Again, we used to be able to manipulate how GBP would perform based upon the service area. Like, in other words, we would optimize the GBP profile to tell Google what areas that service area business served, and Google would, to a degree, honor that. Google doesn't honor that at all anymore. All that does when you define a service area in the GBP is it puts a red dotted line in the Google Business Profile map. That's all it does. It gives you it puts a dotted line around the area that you claimed was the service area. It has no bearing on the performance of the campaign, because Google's going to only display the GBP based upon proximity of the searcher and what the query is. And that's why the query with no location modifier or the query with a near me modifier, the GBP can rank, in nearby for those queries, and then the query plus the location modifier for the city that the GBP is in can rank really well across a huge area, because that is specifically asking Google to return businesses that are located in that area, not that serve it, but are located there. So to be clear, like I said, whenever I get any sort of analysis request, and people submit keywords. Whenever I add them to the rank trackers, organic rank trackers and local search grid trackers, I'm always going to add the variants of the search queries because I want a holistic understanding of how those keywords are performing in search based upon their modifiers, right? And so again, I think it's really important for you to understand that. So when again, if somebody was to submit tree service Pikeville, tree trimming Pikeville, and stump grinding Pikeville, then I would go in and add tree service near me, tree trimming near me, and stump grinding near me, and along with those other three that contain the Pikeville modifier. And then I want to have 9 keywords that I'm analyzing instead of just 3, because I want to see how the modifiers affect the performance of the campaign, right?